Hi, all, and welcome to the Contest Chair webinar, Saturday, September 13th, 2014, for District 55. My name's Jean Ramsey, and I'm going to be facilitating the session. I will also be introducing our presenter today, Laura Redfern. Laura, who is an Advanced Leader Bronze and Advanced Communicator Silver, has been a Toastmaster for nearly 5 years. She currently belongs to 2 different clubs in the district and serves as an officer in both. Laura also serves as a mentor to a newly formed UT Executive MBA Club and as an ambassador for Toastmasters' newly revitalized education program. For the past couple of years, Laura has served as Assistant Division M Governor for contests, chairing multiple contests at the club, area, and division levels, and mentoring countless friends along the way, including myself. Whether she is chairing, judging, serving as a role player, or simply attending, Laura just loves contests. I would like to welcome self-proclaimed contest junkie Laura Redfern to share her insights with us on how to be a contest chair extraordinaire. Welcome, Laura.
Yay! Thank you, Jean. Thank you for that marvelous introduction. And as Jean says, yes, I love contests. I do not like to compete, but I love to help showcase those that do. Because if you get nothing else out of this today, just get that. What a contest chair and what running a good contest is all about is showcasing the contestants. We want to make them look good. We want to make sure they have a great contest experience no matter what the ultimate outcome. Moment on my background. Outside of Toastmasters, in high school and college, I was a theater minor, and I worked professionally with opera companies around the U.S. for about 3 years after college, before settling down here in Austin, Texas. I no longer work in theater, but I tell you about that background because it is central to how I approach and think about contests, and how I would encourage you to think about them as well. As they say at the Toastmasters International level, let's put on a good show. So first off, let's talk about the role of the contest chair, because sometimes people get a little confused of what exactly you're supposed to do and what exactly you're supposed to delegate. So first off, you'll see on the screen here my favorite little human beings, and they're showing you that a contest chair is a team leader. Other terms that I've heard are that you are an orchestra conductor. You're a project manager, if that fits what you do for a living. But first and foremost, you are not alone. An important part of having a great contest is assembling a great team to help make the entire contest experience a success. That means that you are the delegator and should not attempt to do it all, but be comfortable in answering questions or resolving issues that come up for your team. And we'll talk more about the role players that you'll need to assemble in a few minutes here. What else is a great contest chair? A great contest chair is an organizer. If you are not anally retentive about being organized and detail-oriented, grab a buddy who can help you with that. A contest chair should be very, very organized, making sure everyone is on the same page, everything runs smoothly and on time, and we'll talk about some fabulous tools that we have on the district website that help you specifically with this goal. Alrighty, what else is a contest chair? A contest chair is a scheduler. This goes in with the organization part, making sure that everything runs on time and gets done so that, once again, remember, everybody looks good and has a good time. Another part that's very, very important, perhaps not glamorous, but extremely important, is that a contest chair is the rules and forms policeman. What does that mean? That means that the rule book becomes your Bible. There are lots of forms you'll use and be responsible for to help make sure that everything runs smoothly. Don't avoid these forms. Use them. They are your friends. They are there to help make sure that you don't miss anything and that you also look good. And then finally, the contest chair is the problem solver and go-to person. Basically, the buck stops here. So while you shouldn't attempt to do everything yourself, you should at least be familiar with the resources and the rules to be able to solve problems as they will come up. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. So having the tools available that you can address any issues as they come up. All right? Let's talk about what you need. What are the essentials to be a good contest chair and fulfill all of these roles? Our district website is awesome. It has everything you need on the website. Let me show you here how I navigated to the page that's up on your screen now. Here is tmd55.org. Ta-da! Your new best friend. Right over here on the right it says Quick Links, and you will see information for contest organizers. Click on that link and you will get to this fabulous page. We're going to go over the 3 sections here, and I'm going to highlight the ones that I have found most useful, most helpful, kind of give you a short cheat sheet version of how to use this website and how it's going to make your life so much better. First off, I'm going to start with the planning and tracking guides and documents. What is up here is wonderful for helping you to get yourself organized and to feel really confident as you move forward in your contest planning. First off is this schedule page and task list. Now you'll see that there are several different versions you can download. That's just your personal preference. Do you prefer Excel? Do you prefer Word? Or do you prefer looking at a PDF? All of these contain the same information, okay? So don't get confused. Pick one of your preferred way to view information and you are good to go. I'm going to check on the task list right here and show you what that is. Here's what you need to do. It's 2 pages, okay, of the tasks that need to be completed that you can use as a checklist. I personally am a checklist person, love them. They help me to stay organized and to make sure nothing falls through the cracks. And even if I'm having a bad day and my brain's just not on it, my checklist is there to be my supplementary brain and help me out. So here's what you need to be doing right off the bat to help you get organized in your contest. And look at this, read documents on the internet, tmd55.org. Ta-da! We're doing that right now. So all of these things on here are laid out for you. Okay, that is your checklist. Next, when we get towards contest day, there's an invaluable piece right here, materials to bring. Here's another checklist. This one's only 1 page, but it helps again for you to remember all of the items and to make sure you know who's responsible for them. Perhaps you've asked someone to bring a flag or a banner or a gavel and so forth. You don't need to be responsible for all of these, but you do need to make sure they're there, and so you can write down who's supposed to bring that. This could help you to remember to maybe send them an email a couple of days before and say, hey, remember you're going to bring the gavel and the banner, and then to make any comments that you need. This also touches upon the contest forms, which we're going to look at in a minute here, so that you don't forget to bring all of these very important items as well. And then finally up here in this little section is a list of the role players. I'm going to spend just a moment here. This is what you need to be doing probably right now if you haven't already, and that is to get your team, assembling your team. Contest chair, that's probably going to be you. Awards owner, that's the person who's in charge of making sure that all the awards are there, not just the trophies, but any certificates and those very, very important thank you gifts. These do not have to be extravagant. I got questions on those a lot. These can be as simple as a handwritten thank you card. That's fine. Doesn't everyone love to have a little personal note handed to them? That's okay. If your club area division doesn't have the extra money to purchase gifts, that's all right. You can also get in touch with someone crafty in your club. Perhaps they want to create something that is a fun hobby for them and use those as thank you gifts. I believe I've seen at contests Christmas ornaments even that were given as little thank you gifts. That's fine too. Another idea for awards while we're on that, gift certificates are nice if you have the funds to do so. Or you can do candy, or um, I've also seen some goofy things. I'll share with you some goofy things that I've done. One year I went to Walmart and I bought a whole bunch of really loud, obnoxiously colored socks. Yes, socks. And I gave them to all my volunteers at the very end saying, "You guys rock socks." That was goofy, but everybody loved it and they talked about it. It was memorable, it was fun, it was silly, and it didn't cost that much either. Another time we had a spring contest and our theme was spring into Toastmasters. So guess what? We gave out Slinkies. Again, not very expensive, memorable, fun, something goofy, springing into Toastmasters. So use your creativity, have a little bit of fun with those awards, but remember, again, it's just about appreciation. It's just about showing that you care and you recognize that everyone here is a volunteer and you really appreciate them giving their time to help you out. All right, enough on our awards there. Refreshments owner. This is so important. If you feed people, they're happy, and if you don't, they're grumpy. With the refreshments, most often donations are the best way to go. You can ask local bakeries. We've had a lot of success with that. They often will either throw away or donate their goods at the end of each evening. So call first, find a local bakery, and call them, ask them if they would donate their baked goods at the end of the day, and you can go and collect those and then use those for your contest if you like. We've also had some success with area grocery stores, H-E-B, for example. They do need a lot of lead time is the only thing. There is documentation they have to go through to give refreshments or a gift certificate to a nonprofit. It can be done, but you probably need at least 6 weeks, maybe a month beforehand to get all the documentation in there. If you have questions about that, I would ask one of your district leaders and they can lead you to the proper forms. Other role players. A Toastmaster, of course. Now, this is a little bit different from your Toastmaster at a club situation, or a meeting situation, I mean. A Toastmaster for a contest needs 2 important personality traits. One is that they are entertaining and engaging and interesting. We all know that about a Toastmaster, right? We don't want someone who's speaking monotone. But the caution here is in a contest situation, you also want a Toastmaster who is a rule follower. You don't really want to select someone who's going to go off tangent and not read the scripts. We'll get to that in a second. You want someone who has a little bit of fun but is going to be able to follow all the rules of a contest. Not only is that important to have a good experience, but that's important to actually have the contest be valid. Yes, there are important things that need to happen at a contest, and if some of them don't happen, you are endangering the contestants' eligibility to go on to the next level, and you really don't want to do that. You want to protect that at all costs. So you want to have a Toastmaster who's going to, in the best case scenario, be familiar, not to have this as their first time as a contest Toastmaster. But if nothing else, newbies are okay too. You want to have someone who is going to be able to read the script and follow the directions. Test speaker we do not actually need in this round of contest because we've already done evaluation, so we'll skip past that. Chief judge. Your chief judge is your partner in crime. The contest chair and the chief judge are the 2 people who are really the engines behind running a good contest. The chief judge is in charge of selecting these judges, verifying the eligibility, making sure the judges have the information, that they're there, that they fill out the correct forms. So the chief judge is in charge of everything judge related. As the contest chair, you want to select a strong partner you're going to work well with, someone who's also probably detail oriented, very much into understanding the rules. That person should be your chief judge, and then you shouldn't have to think about those items of finding the judges and making sure that they're eligible and so forth. And then you have ballot counters, timers, and sergeant at arms, all very important people. Both you and the chief judge could recruit those. Your area governor could recruit those. These are all role players. Anybody who says, hey, what do you need? What kind of help do you need? Recruit them to one of these roles. They will get their briefing on the day of, by the way, so if they haven't had experience, that's okay. They can still help out. But never say no to a willing volunteer is a good rule of thumb that I heard and has served me well. Next on this list, you do have contestants listed for each contest. So when it says Contest 1 and Contest 2, that would be, for example, the humorous speech contest and then the table topics contest. You want to make sure that you record their contact information, and you want to make sure that you are sending them out the information about your contest, where, when, a map, a flyer, etc., so that they have all the information they need to be very, very comfortable in getting where they need to be on contest day. Let's face it, they're already going to be stressed out, so let's make it as easy as possible for them to have a good experience. Here's a very important category right here. It says meaning eligibility. What you are responsible for as a contest chair is determining the eligibility of the contestants. Okay? So, if you are organizing an area contest, you should be hearing from all the club levels right about now. Most club contests should be finishing up. And they should be giving you the information about who won the contest, both the first and second place winners. As a contest chair at the next level, what you need to do then is to verify eligibility, and you can do that most easily by an email. You can also call. The phone number is right there as well. The email, I actually have a sample template up on the screen now, is very simple. Basically, it just tells them, hi, I'm the contest chair. Tells them your division and your district. Can you verify eligibility for these contestants? And then you have the club number and the name of the contestant, and then in parentheses here I have which contests Tim is competing in. So he was competing in both contests, and you want to list that there. Usually, Toastmasters International will get back to you within a day or two. They're very quick in their response, and I have never had any problem with eligibility. Once in a while they'll come back and ask a clarifying question. You can get in touch with the contestant and clear anything up that they might have a question about, and then you've verified your eligibility and everyone is good to go.
Hey Laura, can I throw in a comment here?
Please do, Miss
Yes.
Jean.
So I'll just say in the past, unfortunately, I had a very heartbreaking time where at the division level, I was the contest chair, and the area chair before me had not jumped through the hoops of verifying eligibility. And at the division level, we had to disqualify somebody from competing. And that was really disappointing. So
Yes.
It seems like kind of a small detail, but it's actually pretty critical, because you don't want somebody to get that far along and then realize that maybe, due to some paperwork or whatever, that things didn't work out. And then another tip on sending this email is, sometimes you mentioned Toastmasters is very diligent about turning these around, but sometimes you don't have a couple of days. Sometimes you may have a contestant that is second place representing the club or the area, and you need to turn it around quickly. If you put the date of your contest in the subject line, then the folks confirming eligibility have an idea of the priority of your request. So
that is an excellent suggestion, Jean. Thank you. And I do that, but I didn't put that on here. Thank you for bringing that up. Awesome. Okay. Something else, too, that with the deadline, as you were mentioning, with those second place winners, I have sometimes in the past sent a list of those people as well to Toastmasters International in a separate email, asking for eligibility on those, because that could save you time. If at the last minute one of the other contestants drops out, maybe even the day of, they just call and they're sick, you've already verified eligibility for all the runner-ups so that there's not an issue. So that's a thought. Thanks, Jean. Any other questions while we're paused here?
No, I'm hanging on the edge of my seat though, Laura.
Great. That's the way we live it. All right. So I'm going to move on from that was the role players list as a reminder of what we were going through here. Okay. So those are your first places to go for your contest planning. That is pretty comprehensive on what you need to get up and running and get a really good contest organized. One other thing that I think is really invaluable, and pardon me because it's not intuitive for where it is, so I'm going to jump around just a bit here. Aha, here it is. If you jump to contest forms and templates, okay, the very first thing says contest evaluation form. Oh my goodness. Do you ever do a non-manual speech in your club? No, you don't. This is your manual when you are the contest chair. This is going to be your evaluation form if you are evaluated by a district official. But even if you aren't, this tells you what you need to do, what you need to have, what the objectives are. Just like with your speech objectives, here's what the project is about. Well, here you go. This is what the contest project is about, and here's what you need to include. This is fabulous because overall it tells you everything that you need, and I can't tell you, every single time I've done a contest, when I'm going back over this list, there is one of these items that I'll go, oh, shoot, I didn't think of that. Use this. This is going to be your best friend to make sure that you have all the pieces to not just have a contest, but to have a great contest and have everybody look really good. Okay? So once again, that is on your forms and templates contest evaluation form. Huge, huge, huge. All right. Okay. These are other good resources to have as far as the PowerPoint slide about conducting quality speech contests, how to chair, how to so forth, put on a good show. All good stuff. That you can refer to, but I want to focus today on the tools that you really need to run a good show. So I'm going to skip past all of those items and go down here to two other items on this page that are really, really important. First off is the list of dignitaries. Oh, again, this is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Please use this. What is this? This is something you want to print out and give to your registration person. Now I realize that was not listed on the role players, but it is a best practice, not a requirement, but a really good idea to designate one person as your registration person. This person should have a table or a chair by the door. No, they're not a sergeant at arms, but what they are is a greeter. They're going to greet everyone as they come in, and they're going to have a sign-up sheet where they sign their name. What does this do? This helps you know when all of your contestants are present, when all of your judges are present, and when your dignitaries are present. Why? As contest chair, the very first thing that happens in a contest is that you go up front and you recognize these very important people in the audience. Might seem like a small thing, but it is so important. Again, we're all volunteers, and the recognition sometimes is the only thanks that we get. This is very important, and again makes you look very polished, professional, and makes everyone in the audience happy and in a good mood for your contest. So let's get this right. How do you get it right? Print this form. Not hard, but very important. What does this do? This lists in proper rank order all of the dignitaries all the way up to Toastmasters International. So if Karen Blank, the international director, Karen Blake, the international director, showed up at your contest, you would know how to introduce her properly by introducing her as the international director for Toastmasters International, Karen Blake, DTM. Ta-da! It's right there. Regional advisors. Linda Williams might show up at your contest because she's in our district. So right here you can see how she should be properly introduced. Now, the other reason that I say to print this is you see this yellow box says check if attending. What your registration person should do is, as they are greeting people, to ask, are you a dignitary? Because your registration person might not know everybody, and that's okay. That's not a problem. But when they do find out that a person is a dignitary, they can put a big X or a check mark or something right over here. Then what happens is the registration person gives you, the contest chair, this list with the check boxes, and all you got to do is go down and read off the check boxes. You're reading it in proper order already because it's in proper order, and you don't have to worry about it. Let's scroll down to, for example, I'm going to scroll down to, here we go. We have some assistant area governors and some other people here. So most likely, I'm going to this page because most likely these are the kinds of people, the kinds of names you might be familiar with and you'll probably see at your contest. Once again, you just have your registration person check off these boxes, or another practice that I have liked is to give them a highlighter and just have them highlight across the entire line here when a person is present when they check in, and then you just read down. You can introduce them properly. For example, we have our events survey manager, Jean Ramsey, advanced communicator silver, advanced leader silver on the telephone. Yay, Jean! Thank you very much. And you've introduced her properly. All right? Great. Enough time spent on that. Again, that was your dignitary list. That's an important day of item to have. Last on this page is the event duration predictor. Thank you, Jerry Barrett. I love you. This helps you to determine how long an event will be. This helps you to create your contest program and agenda, and also your timeline of when everything needs to happen. So what does that mean? Let's click on this. Humor, speech, and table topics is what we are doing this fall. So we're going to bring it up here. And you're going to see in a second that it's going to allow you to plug in the details of your particular contest, and then it's going to tell you what to do. It's so cool. So humorous and table topics. Let's say you have 5 humorous speech contestants. You're doing a dual area contest. Okay, so that's 2 areas. You've got 5 table topics contestants, and you're still at the same dual area contest. You're going to start at 9 o'clock. Little reminder here, that does not include briefing. That's your actual start time for the contest. Okay? Now, this spreadsheet with the detail goes through. This is why Jerry's wonderful, because he created this. It's going to give you a quick summary of how long, probably, your contest is going to last with this number of people. 2 hours and 16 minutes. Here's your end time. Ta-da! You can see right there, so that information could be available on the website for you. Start time, end time. Now, best practice is always fudge. So if you're seeing this 11:16, it's probably when you'll end. Call it at least 11:30 so that people are prepared for any kind of overlap, and you'll be good to go there. The detail then can help you in creating your agenda. Now, you wouldn't put all of this information in the agenda. This is way more than your audience needs to know. This is for you to help run a minute-by-minute scenario, which, yes, you're in charge of when you are running the contest on the day of, keeping sure that everything is on time here and tightening the belt a little bit if needed. Let me spend just a second on that. Let's say that you are now getting towards your last speech, okay, of the humorous contest, and you notice that it's actually heading towards, it's not actually 10 a.m., it's more like 10:15. Oh, so you're running a little bit late. What would you do? Well, what you can do is you can be sure to announce at the break that you're running a little bit behind, so let's try to make sure that we have a timely break, a shorter break. You can police that. That's one idea to do. Or if nothing else, you could just announce to the audience that, well, we're running about 10 to 15 minutes late, so we anticipate that the contest might end a little bit later, just so they know if they have something else that they need to get off to, then at the break they could take the time to let their spouse know they might be a little bit late or something like that. You're just trying to be respectful and courteous of people's time. Okay? That's one idea there. So we have this time duration that we know when everything is supposed to happen. Any questions on the event predictor? Cool. All right, we have gone over a lot of good information on the contest planning guides and documents. Last little link here that I want to touch on this page is frequently asked questions. This takes you actually outside of the district website to the Toastmasters International website. And where you want to go from this page is speech contest frequently asked questions. Here are some really great quick bullet point type answers to questions that will pop up, especially if this is your first time running the show. This is questions about eligibility, about selection, general procedures, so on and so forth. Really, really important questions that you might not know if you don't ask them. So, of course, one of your sources for information would be your division governor or your district personnel. Those are all good resources, but let's face it, we're all busy, and sometimes time to get back to you as quickly as you need the information. So your frequently asked questions page is a really good place to go if you have a pretty straightforward answer about, oh, what about the judges, or what does the chief judge do? Just sort of general questions like that. What are the rules? Those are right here on your Toastmasters International. Remember how we got there was frequently asked questions on the planning guides and documents. All right? Good stuff. Okay, so getting on to the next bullet point here, contest scripts. All right, everything we've talked about so far for the most part has been best practices, items that can really help you to be organized, to be calm, to have your role players put into a really good position to run a good show. Okay, this page is a little bit different. Contest scripts. Use your scripts. That might be the second most important thing that I say all day today. Use the scripts. Now this is not just for the Toastmaster. That is very, very important to put the proper script in the hands of your Toastmaster. We'll talk about that in just a second. But what I want you to know is that there are scripts for everybody. Your chief judge, I'm going to jump down to the bottom here. Your chief judge has a script for briefing the judges, the timekeepers, and the ballot counters. So your chief judge should not be winging it. No. Should not be trying to remember the rule book. No. Make the life of your chief judge easy. Bring up the script and wow, check it out. Instructions. Here's what you do. List of items to bring if you're the chief judge. Checklist just before the contest begins. And then, ta-da, here's what you say. Thank you for participating as a judge in this contest. Blah, 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 blah. You don't have to make this up, guys. Make it easy on yourself. Put this in the hands of your chief judge and tell them to read it word for word. Again, it's important to make sure that the contest is a valid and a fair contest. We want to make this fair for everybody, for a level playing field. The scripts help to do that. They also help you with your brain that you don't have to remember all of this stuff. Just read it. All right. That's for the chief judge. But guess what? There's one for you. Yay! As the contest chair, here is your script for briefing your contestants, your sergeant-at-arms, and your Toastmaster, okay? So that's what you're responsible for as the contest chair. You don't brief everybody. You brief the select group of people that you are responsible for. And again, just like the chief judge script, it has instructions, what you need to do before, what you need to bring just before the briefings begin, and then exactly what you need to be saying. Check this out. It even has the instructions highlighted of what you need to do, and then what you say is just in regular type. Oh, how cool. They make this so wonderfully straightforward for you. Big important thing on these briefings, on these scripts, read them beforehand. Please don't do this to yourself. Don't go in and not having read these items. Print them out a couple of days before and read them so that you will know, for example, this section is only if an evaluation contest is being conducted. You can scratch that out. We're not doing evaluation this fall, so you know you can skip that and go to the next item. So prep your scripts. They're wonderful, but you do need to familiarize yourself with them in order to make them really useful tools. Let me compare the tool metaphor here. These are like your hammer, your nails, your saw, your screwdriver. You wouldn't want to pick up one of those and not have any clue what you were doing. You could potentially hurt yourself. Well, think of the script as the same way. You want to familiarize yourself with them first before you go to work constructing and building your contest. Great. Now let's get to the meeting scripts for the Toastmaster. All right? This fall contest season, this is important to know, we're running 2 contests. We do that every contest season. We always run 2. So you will need to put together 2 scripts, and they're right here. Humorous contest, table topics contest. Let's click on one of those and see what that looks like. This is the humorous contest script. Again, this is for your Toastmaster. So we're going to bring this up, and what you need to do is to make sure that you bring it up at least, I would say, a week beforehand, preferably more than that, so that you can make it appropriate to your contest, and then put it in the hands of your Toastmasters so that they can practice. Okay? Again, it gives you details on what to do prior to the start of the contest, what you need to do, excuse me, and then it's telling your Toastmaster what needs to be said during the contest. All right? What you do as the fabulous contest chair that you are is that you fill in these little parts for your Toastmasters so they don't have to stumble over them in front of an audience. Excuse me. So if you are running an area contest, what you will do is you will read this little box, and then you can take it out because you'll know what's going on. You can delete it so that your Toastmaster doesn't have to flub over it, and you know you are running an area contest. So you can delete that, and you say the winner will represent the area at the division. Enter your division. So let's say it's Division L. The Division L contest on whatever that is, October 4th, 2014. And then you can take out that division stuff because that doesn't apply to you. So there you go. You've made your life so much easier for your Toastmaster. They don't have to flub over it and wonder what they're saying. Don't have to say, refer to your program. They can look exactly at what you've written, and you've just made a new best friend. All right? That's one item to have. This item down here, you won't know until contest day, so you can leave those as blanks, just like they are. Leave those as blanks well. Okay. Here is an important note that for a multi-contest event, let's say you're running that dual or even tri-area contest, okay, the interviews are conducted after the last contest is held. So let's say you're having the humorous speech contest first. Remember, we're looking at the humorous speech contest script. Good. Then you will piece together this script, okay, and you will not do this part here on, see how this is page 5? You're going to take page 5 out because this part with the contestant interviews will not happen until the end of the contest, meaning after the table topics contest. So what you would do is you would actually print for the Toastmaster up to page 4, you'd stop there, and then you're going to put in their binder the table topics script for the next contest, and after that is when you would do your contestant interviews and your closing out of the meeting. Okay, so there's a little bit of work that you need to do, again, to make sure that your Toastmaster has the information that they need and that they aren't trying to figure it out on the fly on contest day. All right, so putting the scripts together is a bit of an art, but as long as you can do that, as I said, at least a week before, you're going to be looking really good. Any questions about the scripts? Jean, anything I've forgotten?
No,
Ooh, silence.
yeah, no, I was like slow to unmute myself, and I'll just support Laura's point about working with the Toastmaster a few days in advance and discussing both how the flow of the contest is going to go, what order you expect to present your contests, when you want to take a break, whether you need to be mindful of being flexible with the time of the break and all of that. It's just communicating that well ahead of the time will help to make your contest seem to flow seamlessly.
Excellent, because guess what? We're in a communications club. Oh my goodness. So communication should be a skill that all of us are working on, so let's use it. Let's work our Toastmasters muscles in doing a contest. Great. What else? Let's talk for just a second then about some fun things, since we've kind of covered some nitty-gritty things in the scripts here. Jean mentioned working with your Toastmaster a few days before. I have had so much fun with my contests in coordinating with my Toastmaster how this show is going to go. So what I mean by that is usually when I first invite a Toastmaster to be the Toastmaster for my contest, we'll sit down, we'll have coffee, we'll have lunch. If they don't have time, maybe at least have a phone conversation and talk about a contest theme. Now, a contest doesn't have to have a theme, just like a club meeting doesn't have to have a theme, but you've probably all been there that when there is a theme, it's so much more fun. It also becomes a little bit easier to organize the rest of the event because you have a central theme, a central metaphor, something you can refer back to as you prepare all the other items that are necessary for an event. So, for example, I got with my my Toastmaster, April Bliss, for my last contest, and we brainstormed some ideas about having an adventure theme. So we came up with some Indiana Jones music. We decided to even have costumes. We dressed up in cargo pants and a little helmet, like a pith helmet, and had some swords and pirate gear. Everyone got into it. It was so much fun. And after we brainstormed some of these ideas, I communicated that to all of my volunteers. So my chief judge, my ballot counters, my contestants, everybody I communicated this to, saying, hey, if you want to have a little fun, feel free to dress up, and I'm going to have some fun props and music there for you. It's not required, but it's something that is a little fun to do if you feel like you want to do it. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed with just the basic details, don't trouble yourself with a theme. It's okay. But it's something that I bring up that can have a little bit of fun if you want to explore that realm. All right. Last little bullet point I'm going to go over here is the free downloadable speech contest forms. Okay, remember how I said that a contest chair was a forms policeman? Here's where you go. Ta-da! Here are all the contest forms and templates that you need. This should, again, be one of your best friends, this website. And we've already gone over the contest evaluation form. Very, very important for you to take a look at and become familiar with. Here's another important item, the contest winner announcement script. Please, please, please print this out and have this available. What I do is I give a copy to my chief judge because they are the person who is going to have this information at the contest. They should fill it out for you. Now, if they don't or they forget or something like that, no big deal. You also print a copy for yourself so that if the chief judge just hands you the information on the winners, maybe they've written it down on a piece of paper or perhaps they've used the winners announcement form from Toastmasters International, that's fine. All you really need is the information. But what you want to make sure happens is that the information gets put into the proper format, which is this. You're looking at it before you hand it to your Toastmaster. Got that? Before you hand it to your Toastmaster. So you fill in this information here about this is, for example, an area contest. So you put your area right there. The contest, you put humorous speech. Were there any disqualifications due to time? Check the box, yes or no. Were there any disqualifications due to originality? Frankly, I've never seen that, but you check the box, yes or no. Now here's a big deal. The third place winner is only announced if there are 5 or more contestants. 5 or more. So if your contest only has 4 contestants, you don't announce the third place winner. Why? Because when there are only 4 contestants, if you announce the third place winner, guess what? Everybody knows who was last. That's not good. That doesn't make anybody feel good. So we don't do that. We are polite and considerate. So many times, if you have only 4 contestants or 3 contestants, you skip that and you go to the second place winner. Okay, you do always announce the second place winner. Why? Because they're your runner-up, and if the first place winner can't show up, the second place winner has to. So the second place winner needs to know that they're second place. You always announce that. So you have the contest entity. What that means, that's right here. That's what you put in here. So if you're doing an area contest, you put in here, will represent area L70, or whatever your area is, at the area contest on October 4th, or whenever it is. Should the first place winner be unable to attend, is, and there you put in the name. Okay? Your first place winner, same thing, area L70 at the area contest on October 4th is, and you put in the name. Okay? You want to tell your Toastmaster about this form. I've seen that some people are familiar with it and some people aren't. So again, making sure that they have the tools to look really good and run a smooth contest, make sure that you show them this before the contest and say, hey, by the way, I don't know if you know, this is the winner announcement. This is awesome because this means, Mr. Toastmaster, you don't have to think about if you're announcing things correctly. All you got to do is read this when I put this in your hand. That's it. Don't change any of the words. Remember how I said that a Toastmaster needs to be able to be a rule follower in this sense? Don't change the words. Read this exactly as it is written, and there you go. You'll be smelling like a rose. All right? The other thing, be sure that you're not confused here. Remember how I said there are 2 contests? So here is whichever one you announce first. Let's say it's the humorous speech. Your winner's there. And then here is table topics. That's why there are 2 of these on the same page. It's not a mistake. All right? Great. So there is your, oops, you got off onto the wrong page. There was your winner's announcement. All right. So on your free contest forms and template download, those are your 2 most important items, and they're right at the top there. Ta-da! 1 and 2. Other items that are on here that are good to know. There is this letter to a prospective judge template you could use. I've never used that, to be honest with you. I tend to find the best way to find judges, 2 things. One is to attend other contests, and usually at other contests they will give a moment for any announcements that anyone wants to make. You announce your contests. Announce the date, the time, and who you're looking for. So if you need 5 judges, you announce, come to my area contest on October 4th. It is going to be so much fun. I need help. I need 5 judges from outside my area. If you're interested, please see me afterwards. I would love to talk to you. That's all you do. Having a plea in person is so much more effective and is going to get you more volunteers than sending out an email. Not that email's a bad idea, not at all. If that's all you have time to do, something's better than nothing. But going to other contests is a great way to get volunteers. The other way that is probably the most effective is to volunteer yourself. Everybody loves reciprocity. So if you go to a contest and volunteer to be a judge, a ballot counter, registration, whatever, bring some food, whatever they need, very, very often you're going to hear from that contest organizer, "Thank you so much, Jane, for your help. Is there anything I can do for you?" And that's how you say, "Well, you know what? Actually, I need another judge at my contest. Would you be willing to judge?" And that is the best way to find your volunteers, are people who are willing and eager because you've done something for them. Okay, getting back to the forms here, there are release forms for taking a person's photo and to do a video. Now at the area and division levels, don't often come up, but they are good to know about, especially if you have a library that you might want to post these on a website. Maybe you have an area division website or something like that. Technically, you should be putting these in the hand of your contestants and getting their permission before you post anything online. Okay, so those are the forms to be able to do that. Oops. There we are. All right. And then last but not least, here are your kits. These are great. Excuse me. We've talked about a few forms here. Here's where you find them all. Here are the humorous speech and the table topic speech. So let's go to the humorous speech first. Where this takes you is to Toastmasters International. Here are all the items in your kit. Now, often in the past, I've seen people order hard copies. That's fine if you have enough time for them to get to you, but you don't have to wait for that. You can actually log in and download digitally all these items that you need. I like to do that because you see all these certificates here? They are fillable PDFs. And so you can type in the information and actually have it all nice and pretty and personalized before you hit print if you download them digitally. I like to do that personally. There are other people who prefer the hard copies, and then they have someone with really nice handwriting write in the information on the certificates. That's fine too, not a problem. Either way, you can download all of these here. What else comes in a kit? Your speech contest rulebook. Very, very important for you to read. Yes, actually read the rulebook, please, and familiarize yourself with the rules. Here are your certification of eligibility and originality forms. Very, very important when we talked about that. Verifying eligibility, remember that? And the judge's certification of eligibility and code of ethics forms as well. There are other items on here that you need to make sure that you have during contest day, time record sheet, ballots, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go over all of these because A, you can download them right here, and B, if you go back to your scripts and you go to your contest scripts, they're going to tell you right here what you need to say about these forms and what you need to do with these forms. So all of that information is actually written down right here in your scripts for you to refer to. Okay, so just in case you're like, what do I do? Another place, just as a reminder, to go if you're confused about the forms is back to your frequently asked questions right there on TI, and it's going to take you to questions about procedures and eligibility, and here it's going to answer probably most of the questions that you will have about your forms. Okay, so lots of resources that you have there. That has been the main point of what I wanted to get across to you today, was where to go for the information as you're planning your contest. As I said, of course, your division and your district personnel are there to answer questions for you, as well as other people who have run contests before. Let's say you know someone who has been a contest chair or a chief judge, and you know they've done that a couple of times, a seasoned Toastmaster. Feel free to contact them and see if they can answer your question. But You can also find this information online on our wonderful district website. They've tried to make everything available to you. So if you're working on it late at night or on a weekend, can't reach anybody, you have a lot of resources here. You're not alone. We're trying to make this very accessible and fun and something that you can do um, from various different angles. All right, that is the most that I had to talk about today. Getting back to our main idea that as a contest chair, you want to have people have a good experience, a positive experience, a fair experience, and for everyone to look good. And the way that you do that is from planning and from using your forms and having a great team to help you run a good show. I believe you can host a great contest, have fun, as long as you have the right mindset. Remember to maintain an attitude of gratitude and that we're all volunteers. If you appreciate everyone who steps up to help you and to participate, from your contestants all the way to your audience members, if you remember to do that, you will have a great experience, you will have fun, and so will they. Jean, are there any last minute questions or anything else you'd care to add before we sign off?
No, Laura, I think that you presented the district website, which is my favorite resource, beautifully, and I think you've covered all the bases here. I'm really excited about this contest season, and I hope that folks take the time to view the webinar and take the time to plan their contests out so they can be relaxed and have a great time at their contest coming up.
Amen to that. Go forth, everyone who's listening to this, and have a wonderful time. Good luck, and have a great contest season.